I'm Hillary Clinton, and I approve this message.
Welcome to Voices Across America, a national town hall with Senator Hillary Clinton. Live from 22 states on the Hallmark Channel and worldwide at HillaryClinton.com, an historic event bringing together voters from across America to discuss the issues that matter and the changes this country needs. Good evening, everyone. I'm Carol Simpson. Welcome, and it's my honor to introduce Hillary Clinton. For joining us. You know, from day one, this campaign has about listening to your voice, your concerns, your issues, your dreams, and being ready from day one to start working on them. Tonight, we're going to hear voices from all across this nation. And tomorrow, I hope we're going to hear your voice loudly and clearly at the polls. You know, we have already received over 50,000 questions at HillaryClinton.com. And we are live on the internet, and we're live on the Hallmark Channel. And we'll be taking questions from 21 states tonight. So let's get started. Carol, the United States has to lead the world. Our leadership is essential. But you can't be a leader if no one is following. So it's time that we got back into being a real leader again. Now we're going to a biggie. We're going to the Golden State, California, and San Francisco. Great. Oh, my. Oh, my.
Well, Hillary, I'm here representing all your free campaign volunteers. And as you can see, there's a lot of support here. But this question will come from Jack Harris of San Mateo, a Vietnam veteran. A very important question for you and for America.
Senator Clinton, as the President said, I am a Vietnam veteran. I'm proud to have served our country. The current state of affairs in the Iraq War are creating immense numbers of physical and mental injuries and disabilities that our veterans are returning home with very little support, as many of us see. My question is this: should legislation arrive at your desk which would require mandatory funding for all veterans to receive the mental, financial, physical, medical help that they deserve and require? Will you sign such legislation, and what else will you do to help take care of our veterans who have given so much? Thank you.
Jack, thank you for your service to our country. Thank you. Thanks. No, I will sign such legislation. I will invite such legislation. I have been an advocate for mandatory full funding for the Veterans Administration. It's always been important because I think when someone signs up to serve our country, we sign up to serve that person, to make sure that they do get the health care and other concerns taken care of. And it has been heartbreaking for me to see the current administration sending our sons and daughters to war and fighting over how much we'll fund the VA. Time and again, they have refused to give us the funding that we knew was necessary. And Jack talks about the many kinds of injuries that are being suffered by our young men and women in uniform. 30,000 of them have been injured, and they're both visible and invisible injuries. Now, sometimes you can see them. You know, you can see the lost limb or the loss of eyesight, but a lot of times you can't. They're invisible. They're post-traumatic stress disorder, what's called traumatic brain injury. That started coming to my attention right after the beginning of the war in Afghanistan and increasingly after the war in Iraq started. Because with the kind of battlefield that our soldiers and Marines and others are on, it's a 360-degree one. There is no front. You're in a convoy on some street in Baghdad, and all of a sudden a bomb is remotely detonated. And some people are injured and killed, but even those who are not physically injured can have their brains literally shaken. I had a young Army captain who lost his arm and his ring finger in an attack in Baghdad tell me that he was getting along fine using the new prosthesis, but he wanted to know where to go to get his brain back. So I have sponsored and passed legislation called the Heroes at Home Act that begins to focus on these injuries. And I'm going to continue to push because I want to be a commander-in-chief who, number one, never sends our young men and women to war unless it is absolutely necessary. Force should be used only as a last resort, not a first resort. And when we send them, we owe a debt that really can never be repaid, but has to be carried through by taking care of them when they come home and their families. And I will do whatever it takes to give our veterans the support that they need. And I really invite the entire American public to do that. You know, a lot of veterans are coming home and they're jobless. Too many are homeless. A lot of times it's because of the injuries they have suffered, particularly the post-traumatic stress disorder and the traumatic brain injury, which causes depression and anxiety and insecurity. So the entire American community has to be welcoming and embracing. But our government must fulfill our responsibility to take care of everyone. And I have pledged to be a president who takes care of our veterans, from our youngest veterans to our oldest veterans. And I particularly want to say to Jack in San Francisco that I feel like we owe a special debt to the veterans of my generation who served and fought in Vietnam and were not given the help and the respect and the welcome that they deserve. So we have a lot of work to do.
You were doing so well. She has only 3 minutes to answer these questions.
I know, there's a lot to say.
And you were doing okay, and now you've started going over, so I'm going to be watching you, okay? Because we